right, welcome here today. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Today's video is all about this Harris Farms Nurture Right 360 incubator with built-in LED candler. So I picked this up on Amazon, and I will put in the description of the video this particular incubator. I believe they have at least two different sizes. This is the larger of the two. This unit will hold 22 chicken eggs. So yeah, 22 chicken, 12 to 18 duck, or 22 pheasant eggs. So I've used incubators in the past. The one that I've used, actually the only type I've used, is a really old type of style. It's like a styrofoam box, not nearly as fancy as this, and it has kind of vanished. I don't know what has become of it. I know there were two. They were my dad's. My dad passed, and I have no idea what happened to them. So I thought it's time for me to buy my own. I'm excited to try this. I'm excited about the features that this has, and I thought I would just do a video. We'll just progress it, see how it goes. So there is an automatic egg turner, an auto stop on the egg turner, so it will just automatically stop turning 3 days before hatch. There's the external water top off for the humidity control. 360 induced airflow provides optimal air circulation and temperature stability. We just read that. 360 visibility and 12 voltage low wattage, safe for children. And let's see, I thought there was some other things on some other pages or sides. It seems to just be a repeat. So this came really quickly. I think it came like within a day, and not a lot of instructions. So there is just a large page there, front and back, all in English. Wow, that's shocking. And I have it all unboxed over here. Let's take a look. So here it is. I have not plugged it in yet. I have not put my eggs in it yet. Please excuse the sound effects. I have a little one here with me. This looks like maybe part of a humidity control. It's just taped shut. I was surprised to see this, and then thankful to find this also in the box. I was worried for a second. I am ready to start incubating today, so I do not want any little glitches running in the way. Egg turner power supply. Oh, that's interesting. Now wait a minute. Now I'm getting confused. Okay. Oh. Okay, that's one. That must be two. Okay, now I am confused here. I'm gonna have to do some reading to figure that out. I'm confused because I have a little inserter here. I've got two up top here. I do not know, but we will read and investigate. And I think this is the candler. Okay, so here's a little peek at my eggs. These are ones that I have collected from my own hens that I have with a rooster. Some hens I have with a rooster. And then these are some I just bought on eBay just for fun. Beautiful color assortment here. So 22 total. I think I'm going to mark the ones that are mine because I know like how long I've been collecting these, and just so I don't get mixed up because there are some similar shades and eggs. But so I have read through everything, and it is saying that we need to get this up and running for 4 to 5 hours with water in water pot A before we add eggs. So I'm figuring we should get it up and going. And then later today, I will put in the eggs. My eggs are already room temperature, so it mentions that, but we don't need to worry about that. And then the whole cord business. So this is how it goes. So I've plugged this into the, whatever that box is. This is going to go up to the dome. And then also this lower portion is going to go to the dome. And they do have different inputs, so no worry about messing them up. It does specify you must use this power supply that is provided. Also an interesting thing, it talks about location, keeping it out of direct sunlight, and the room temperature. But another thing it mentions is to not have it near the ground or on the ground because of CO2 levels, I believe is what it said. So I'm using a table here. But I'm going to get the power supply hooked up, and I'm going to get these little bits of tape off, and we'll open it up. Okay, so tape's off, lid's off. They mention in the manual, or the little page, see that little notch there? There's one on either side of the dome lid, and whenever you're putting this on, you have to make sure that it lines up with the base. You can see it there. Now this, I believe we might need to do a little work on here. Okay. And this is the turner. Just kind of has a, what is that shape? Anybody know what you call that? A wannabe circle. Okay, there we go. Turner's on. So the eggs will lay in here on their sides. I do love the visibility factor of this. I mean, like, that was one of the things with the incubator before that was such a downer. Like you had these little square rectangular windows that you had to look in through the styrofoam box, and you didn't want to open the lid because you let out the heat and the humidity. You weren't supposed to open the lid, but sometimes you had to open the lid because you know, during hatching maybe somebody would get stuck, their foot down in the wire or something. So like this visibility is just going to be absolutely fantastic. Super excited about that. Okay, so here is definitely water pot B, and I believe this is A. Okay, so for days 1 through 18 for chicken eggs, we are going to have our humidity set at half, which this is like 100%, and this is half, and we need to fill just water pot A and check it daily. So this is a very small little box that you're pouring the water into. I'm just using bottled water. I was kind of uncertain what I should use as far as my water here at home. I have water that I can get that's untreated, but it is a little hard, and then I have water that goes through the softener and filter and things like that, but you know, it has salt in it, so I thought I would just use this spring water here. So pour carefully. The little reservoir pot goes all the way down in and around the turner. There is a reservoir there, and the pot is supposed to be filled to 2/3 of the way, so I think I need a little more in it. And then, like I said, we will check it daily. Pot B has the little red covering to keep the heat in, and we will not be using that until the last 3 days, right before hatching. Now this is for chicken eggs, so you can use this for other eggs, like we saw on the box. You can adjust hatching time and humidity, you know, as it's needed for whatever it is that you're hatching. But I'm just going to focus on chickens because that's what I'm hatching, and that's what everything's just kind of automatically programmed to do. So the little red cap is going to keep the heat in until day 3 when we increase the humidity. And I just need to pour a little more water in there. Okay, I would say it's close to 2/3 now. It's kind of hard to gauge, but we're gonna call that good. And now I'm going to put the lid on with those little notches, and then I'm going to plug it in. So the plugs, I'm going to wait to do all the plugging till I get the lid back on here. And if you see my 16-ounce bottle of water, you can see about what I used, maybe 4 ounces or so. Okay, so I set it on the notch on the one side, and then this side, it's probably hard to see, but the dome is on the exterior of the base. So it's at the right place, but it needs some finessing to get it in there so we don't have air escaping. There's a little gap there now. Okay, and it just very easily went right in. It does mention that, keeping an eye on that when you're putting the dome back on. It mentions that in the little flyer pamphlet instructions. Okay, so I've plugged this in and now I have a green light. So I have power. And now the end of this is going to go to the power supply. Woo! Oh, and I hear it. And then this is going to be the turner, which actually right now I don't need the turner because I'm just getting the humidity level up and the temperature up. So let's take a look at this display here. Okay, so right now it's at 76. This is on because it is actively heating. This is our humidity percentage. This is showing that the turner is off. If you see these little turn arrows, it's red because it's not doing its thing. Okay, so once we get this up to temperature, which is, it's fabricated to take it up to 99.5, and then we will be able to add our eggs, and we will test out the turner to make sure that they turn well. Then we will reset all of this so that the counting is correct, because right now it's going to start counting down, and I think this is how we, yep, so it's day 21. Look at that visibility. It's just incredible. So as far as the humidity, we want it to be around 50. This is saying that between 48 and 55 is acceptable. But it's 60 right now, which kind of surprised me. However, I do believe as the temperature rises, it will impact the humidity. Oh, and there, it just dropped a degree. Anyways, we'll revisit this. I'll bring you back in the 4 or 5 hours that we're... Okay, so a few hours has gone by now. We do have the 99.5 degrees. The thermometer is beeping there, or blinking, telling us it's on. We're at 56% humidity, which is a smidge high. We're going for around 50%, but a range of 48 to 55. So I'm guessing that maybe my half open isn't quite half open, so I'm going to open it a little more and see if that affects anything. It does have in the little instructions here that about increasing the humidity if you need to adjust to 1/3 of the way open. So I'm assuming to decrease the humidity, we just need to open it a little bit more. And we'll just see what happens. And I mean, half is a little hard to gauge because there is no, I could have been off a hair with that. Okay, so now we are ready to put in the eggs, and I have 22 eggs right here. They recommend putting an X on one side of the eggs so that way we can test out the turner to make sure that they are fully rotating. I did mark the eggs, but not not quite the way that they instructed. So the eggs that were my own, I put an X on either side, just really lightly with a pencil. You can see one there and one there. So we're just going to use that X. They won't all have X's, so I'll have 10 that have 2 X's actually, and 12 that won't have any X's, but we're looking for just, you know, the rotation to actually happen. Oh, look at that. My humidity dropped. Okay, so I'm going to take the lid off of this, and we're going to start putting eggs in. Exciting stuff, right? Okay, so we need to remember when we lift this off that things are connected over here. So I'm just going to lift it. Set it down. I didn't have my turner plugged in yet, so. Okay. Now, the instructions say that the eggs need to be laying on their side with the point facing towards the center. So I'm just going to go ahead and put them in. So excited. And you also need to verify that there is space between the eggs and the side. I'm assuming so they can rotate or turn. And sometimes it's hard to determine what the pointy side of the egg is, right? I really have no idea on this one. Most of the time, you can very obviously tell the pointed end, but this one I'm just not sure. Oh my. I think it's this way. Okay, so if we have one that doesn't hatch and we can't identify the pointy end, maybe that's why. Maybe it was that one. Okay, now we'll put in my purchased eggs. Really excited about these. Beautiful, right? Just gorgeous. So how many will hatch? This is another one that's a little hard to tell. Ooh. Do not appreciate that. What will our hatch rate be? I'm hoping these eggs are pretty fresh, but so I ordered them Sunday or Saturday. They were shipped Monday. Today is a Thursday, so hopefully they are within a week of age, and I'll get a nice hatch rate. They were packed beautifully. I'm in Pennsylvania. They came from Florida. This is not my first time buying hatching eggs online. I have had success before. Okay. Look at that. Wow. Now, while I had the lid off loading it, things really dropped, but my humidity is increasing. So I'm now going to plug in the churner portion here because we've got to test out these eggs. Okay, and I did verify the lid is on completely and entirely. I still have good water level in my humidity tank. And now we must test the turner. So to test the turner, we're supposed to push the plus and minus buttons simultaneously. And let's see, we've got, there's an X there. So if we see an X twice, since I did this wrong, I'll put 2 X's on that, some eggs, then we know it rotated entirely. Oh, there it goes. There's 1. And there's 2. Okay, now we should probably, oh, you don't have to hold it. Oh, you do have to hold it. Okay. Now we should probably check out the middle because now this side is rotating. I don't know if you can see it, but there's an X right there. And there's another X. 1. And 2. Okay. There's a little delay to it stopping with the rotating. Okay, now we need to reset the timer because it's been timing since we started it a while back. So it's 21 days still, but there's less hours. So in order to do that, to reset it exactly to 21 days, we need to push the menu and the minus button to restart. I did that. I don't know, there was no... Supposed to do it for 5 seconds. I feel like I did it for 5 seconds. Maybe we should count. Let's do it again. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. Okay, so that's what it does. All right, you get a signifying beep. Okay, so here we go. 21 days. The turner should automatically be on. It's not on right now. It's red, but it should be handling this. It's too early to candle, but I will bring you back and we will keep an eye on this here. Okay, so it's the morning after I put these in. It looks like my humidity is a little too high because it's supposed to be between 48 and 55. So I'm gonna open this a little more. See what that does. So it's a little beyond half there. I had a dream last night that where I was dreaming that this lid was not on right. But I kept waking up and like remembering that I checked it, it was on. So I guess I'll revisit the humidity situation here in a little bit since I opened that a little more. Okay, so I am at day 19. So we've been incubating for a couple days now. And you can see my humidity level is, well, just dropped to 58 from 59. Right now, I have the adjustment dial here fully open to try to drop the humidity a little. It was at 60 when I came up here this morning, and I've been struggling a little with controlling the humidity. And I think the reason is we've just had some really wacky temperatures, highs and lows. And so I have this in a room with a mini split so I could control the temperature and make sure that the room temperature was precise, because I didn't want to ensure anywhere else. This is just a big like loft above my garage. I didn't want to ensure anywhere else in my house maintained a temperature above 72, between 72 and 80. But I was okay with doing that here. So it's early spring. We have very cold nights. And yesterday it got into the high 70s. Now we dropped to 57. So the AC was running up here. And while the AC was running, the unit was taking out humidity in the air. So I have it on auto, so the heat will come on, you know, vice versa, whatever is necessary. So now nothing has been running, and the humidity creeped up again. It's just the temperature extremes, and what my mini split is doing, I believe, is impacting the humidity. So I'm just gonna try to drop this down again. I'm hoping for some more stable temperatures so I can get some more stable humidity levels. But this is a little tricky. I hope that it's okay. I mean, there's not much more I can do than, you know, just check it periodically and make adjustments as necessary. So I'm supposed to maintain between 48 and 55. So ideally around 50. Okay, so I am at day 7 now, because I have 14 days left. So we're going to do some candling later, and I will show you that. Still struggling a little with the humidity level. I am 100% certain it is because of the changes of, you know, what my heating system is doing to maintain the temperature of the room. Also, I just emptied my first water bottle into the humidity compartment. So I need to bring another one of these up, but so that's 16.9 ounces of water I've put in 7 days. Okay, so we are ready to start candling. I am going to darken the room because that's supposed to help. This is the candling area, and when we push the candling button right here, it is supposed to light for 5 minutes. Now we are supposed to complete candling within 8 minutes of time. So I guess when that light goes out, it means I've got a little bit more time. I'm hoping I can candle all of them. There are 22. Darker eggs might be harder. They might not. Sometimes it just kind of depends where the yolk was in the egg, or where the embryo is kind of developing. If it's along the side of the shell, it'll be easier to see. If we see a totally clear egg, that probably means it's infertile. And also it mentioned that we want to keep the dome. Be careful to not unplug any of the plugs and just set it to the side. So I am going to get started. Got the lid off, but I set it too far away. I'm realizing now I need it close to me so I can use the candling feature. Now, so here's my recommendation upon that. Rotate your unit so that your plug-in is to the side at the very least, so you can get your light here where your lid, your dome close. Woo, look at that. Let there be light. And it's like twilighty in this room here. Now we may hear beeping as the temperature drops, and there is an option to silence that. Also, we're putting the large end down. It may not be dark enough in here yet. We might have to try this again later. Let me try another. Okay, I feel like it's not dark enough. I have the lights off. I have the blind pulled. It does filter light, kind of let light in. We're gonna try again later in a couple hours when it is actually dark, dark, dark. So I'm gonna put this all back together. Of course, my humidity is down because it wasn't over, you know, the water. Now it is increasing. My temperature is almost already, I mean, it's fluctuating a little bit. It's practically back. I made sure the little notches are in, and yeah, we'll come back when it's totally dark out. Right, as you can see, it's much darker now. We're going to try this out again here. I'm going to push the button and we will have light. Let's see, wide end up. We have to be very delicate with our eggs because in this state they are very fragile. Not seeing anything, and it is really dark now. I almost feel like maybe like almost maybe too much light is escaping here. Let me fiddle with this a little bit and try some more. I'm still not having luck here, but as far as what I need to see with my candling, but there is a crack in this egg. Do you see that? And I think part of the issue is that there's just too much light escaping. So this is one of the ones that I purchased because it does not have an X. That one we're going to need to get rid of. Let's see here. Just going to try. This was one I wasn't sure what was the wide and what was the low. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. We have a viable egg here. Okay, there it is. All right, we've got one good one. This is from my house because it has the X. So I'm just going to put a dot on it that I candlelit it, and we have life. And I'm going to check the rest of these. Maybe this light is okay. Yeah, I'm going to fiddle some more. But you see that black dot there? That's what we're looking for at like day 7. And it is easy to see in this one because it is really close to the shell edge there. Some of them, it is possible we aren't seeing it because it is in the center of the egg, but I will fiddle some more. It's a green egg. You can't see anything through it at all. Some of these we may not be able to. Mission complete. We're going to try again in a couple more days. Some of these I'm not sure about. Some of these I definitely saw something. There was the one with the crack, which I showed you. Now the situation with the crack is it can let in bacteria. It can cause the egg to go bad. It could develop. It's very uncertain. I'm going to leave it go a little longer and check it again. All right, so I'm back again, another day. I'm going to try some more candling. I did some review reading on this and some different testimonial reading on this particular Incubator brand. So we have 13 days remaining at this point. So we have been incubating for 8. And same things like I was saying as I was trying to candle. The base here just lights up too much, and there's not a good seal with the light. The light does seem bright enough if it were. It just needs some sort of adjustments. Also, people are mentioning the humidity level situation like I'm having. Today it's been back and forth 55, 56%, and I have the shutter just as fully open as I can open it. So the humidity will drop when I take the lid off. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take this little flannel burp cloth. I'm going to just lay a few eggs in it at a time, cover them, and candle them. I'm probably going to fiddle around a little with this, but also apparently a cell phone flashlight works really well. It's a very concentrated, strong, small light. So I'm going to fiddle with that a little, and I will let you know the results. Okay, so I think I saw a little bit more. I think the primary issue with the light on the unit is just that it floods so much light. It's not concentrated. So I don't know if you can see this. This egg is what we would call seeping. You see that liquid? This is a bad egg. So yesterday I saw this egg and I showed you it had a little crack. Now it's kind of seeping. It could explode eventually. So we're gonna, you can kind of see it there. See that glistening up here? It's just, there, you can see it. It's just starting to ooze. It's time to go. This is one of the ones that came, that I ordered. So it's probably just damaged unknowingly. I mean, it's a very small crack. That was a pretty egg, a speckled one. Okay, so I'm not going to candle again for a couple of days. If anything of interest occurs, I will let you know. So we're down to 21. All right, welcome back. So I'm at day 14. You can see I have 7 days left. So not too much longer. A week from now, there should be some hatchings. I'm going to do another candling, but I wanted to show you my humidity level. As you can see, it's 57, and I have it totally open here on the little shutter. So my thoughts are, as far as this incubator goes, this probably should have been made that you could open it more so than just half, because then you could have a better control of the humidity. Other thought about the candling thing, I was thinking about that, and I think if this base, this plastic wasn't white, if it was black, so that it would let less light through, that would solve a lot of the issues with candling. Also, if this little point of light that's exiting was a little smaller in diameter, I think that would solve some issues too. But like, is the humidity a huge factor? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. We'll find out whenever we see what hatches and what doesn't. But I'm going to candle and then I will give you some info. Okay, so it is day 3 now. And we need to take the turner out. As you can see, I am at 58% humidity, which is too high. I'm supposed to be at 55 or below. I have the dial completely open, as far open as I can get it. And I have some more theories on this. So what I think happens with this elevated humidity is, as the water is getting warmer and warmer and warmer, it is evaporating more quickly and increasing the humidity. So when you add more water, it brings the humidity level down because it cools off the water temperature and decreases the evaporation. And so then the humidity level is decreased. So when you add a good bit of water, it will kind of bring the humidity down for a while. This was up higher earlier today, and I added some water and it kind of dropped down. So you can see, I'm going to put some water in right now. I'm going to need to get another bottle of water. Today with day 3 also, we need to take off this cap for B, which is another area to add water and increase our humidity. But I am going to, oops, I'm spilling it all over. I'm going to need another bottle. Okay, so I just poured some in. I emptied my bottle of water. This is my second bottle of water that I have used throughout this process here. And you can see it's down to 57% now. We'll see if it'll drop more or not. I didn't put a ton in. But another thing worth noting is I've kept my water fairly close to the incubator. Now the incubator, it's not giving off a ton of heat, but it is warm. So you are supposed to use room temperature water, but if I keep the water a little further away, the water will be a little cooler, which will reduce the amount of time it'll take for the humidity level to increase. And now we are down to 56%. So my thoughts on that, this needs tweaked. You need to be able to open this more so you can have more humidity control. So I'm not sure if I mentioned that already. I know I did mention the whole candling aspect here, and my thoughts on that. Now, so we also today need to take out the turner. So we're going to take out the turner. We're going to open plug B, increase our humidity. We're going for ideally around 70%, but anywhere between 65 and 75 is acceptable according to the pamphlet that came along with this. So let's get this turner out. Let's see what we're supposed to do for that. Okay, so also the little egg turner indicator light is off. It automatically goes off at 3 days, so it is off. And that's supposed to act as a reminder for removing the turner. So basically, you don't want the turner in there. It's not going to turn now because it has gone off, but there's just a lot of places for things to get stuck. Sometimes eggs hatch a little early, depending on temperature and just depending on development and humidity. So we want to get it out of there before we have a risk of damage to any of our little friends that will be hatching. I thought I saw an egg that might have been seeping a little. I'm not 100% sure, but is it this one? Yeah, do you see that little glisten there? And that's when I had marked that I had seen something in it. Could have died, I'm not 100% sure. So what we're going to do is we're just supposed to lift this turner directly up. Then it's supposed to come off around the eggs. Hope it doesn't lift any of the eggs. Some of my eggs are pretty big. I see some bouncing around a little. Okay, I did have to help ease some eggs through. Good thing I didn't just pick that up, or they would have dropped and potentially cracked and caused some premature damage to the egg. I just saw an egg move, and I don't know if it was still adjusting or if somebody inside is waking up. Okay, well, we'll just watch this a minute here while I talk. So I'm going to remove the red plug for the humidity, and we're going to fill that one up. It is recommending that we do not take the lid off any more than every 6 hours because the humidity level that definitely moved. Did you see that? It's over here. The humidity level will drop dramatically if we do that. So we want the increased humidity because while these little peeps are coming out of their shell, we don't want them to dry too much as they are emerging and as they're pecking their way out with their little egg tooth. Because if they dry too much, they can kind of become stuck to the shell, and that's very, very bad for such a little delicate creature. So with the humidity situation I've been having going on, I'm not really super concerned about, dropping humidity. But we will follow those instructions to the best of our ability. I love the fact that there is so much visibility with this incubator. My previous incubator was not like this, so this is fantastic. I'm just super excited. So we could start seeing hatching a little early. We could see it up to a day or so late. If it goes to 2 days after 21, chances are the eggs that have not hatched are not viable, and so we can dispose of those at that time. Also, it's a great time for me to get my box ready and my light going for my little friends as they do hatch. All right, I'm gonna get this filled up, and I guess I need to start showing my kids some some videos, educating them on on these little eggs and the developmental stages that they've gone through and what we're about to see next, because the time is coming. So I just want to tell you that Reservoir B, it holds a good bit more water than Reservoir A. You can see this is a brand new bottle of water, and I have put a good third in already, and it's not quite at 2/3 of the level of the little reservoir there, so you could probably put some more. But if you look at this diagram here, so you can see the first little input is Reservoir A, and then B is the second one, which goes all the way around Reservoir A. So and I can kind of see water down in there. So anyways, I'm going to put a little more in, but you might just want to be prepared for that. Okay, so I finally have my table all cleared off so that folks can sit and observe these eggs hatching. We are getting excited. I'm still having a little bit of humidity difficulties. As you can see right now, we're at 76, which is a little high. I don't know what's going on. So I did some reading through the reviews on Amazon, which is where I purchased this incubator through. And if I didn't mention before, I will link this specific model in the description, so you can click it and you can go to it, check it out yourself. So some people have had humidity issues and some people haven't. People are saying overall that have humidity issues that the environment is impacting the humidity, which right now my air is running, so that should be taking humidity out of the air. I'm just not certain exactly, but someone did mention initially having a high humidity problem, having this open completely like I had, and then to also reduce humidity, they removed this cap prematurely, which would give another outlet. You can see the hole down there, it's not huge, but that would give a little more outlet for some humidity to escape. Probably it would escape better up here, but some should still escape from here. I wish I would have thought of that. That was a really good idea, and in the future I may utilize that. I think that I will reach out to the company and just ask them about this particular situation I'm having and see what they have to say about it. Another thing, so folks are also commenting about the candling light. Nobody that I read thought the base should be black to help with that. They just thought the light should be stronger and more concentrated. Another thing people are saying overall is that the dome should have a handle, which would be quite convenient. It would make it much less bulky, much less risky as far as juggling things and not dropping it. And they're also mentioning that this interior lip here, when you remove the dome and you have peeps who have hatched that you're going to be removing, that they just kind of all go off the edge. And depending on where your incubator is located and how quickly you can respond, how many folks you have with you, there can be, kind of an issue with that. And so they are suggesting that this lip here, the white base, have a little bit deeper of a lip. Of course, that would probably obstruct the visibility a little bit, but I just haven't gotten to that situation yet. But so we will see. We're looking forward to having some little peeps join the world here in the next day or so. Okay, so we have basically 1 day left till our 21 days is up. Still having the humidity situation. And actually, what I did, I emailed the company with questions about it, and they emailed me back a bunch of questions, basically signifying that they didn't really read the email that I sent, because a lot of those questions were answered in there. I guess it's just their general basic, we send you this and then you send us back, in the format we want, and then we will communicate with you. So I need to get around to that. But I'm hearing chirping, so I'm going to be quiet here a minute and see if we can hear any. I don't see any pips yet where they're starting to come out, but I'm just going to be quiet here. Well, I guess we're not going to get any footage of that, but I think we're soon going to have some little visitors here. All right, one more time to try to hear the chirping. What a difference a day makes. Okay, so on a side note, here are my hatchings. I have 11 right now. I have one more egg that I candled that I think might be viable. We will see. They're doing well. Okay, and so here is what's remaining. Here is what it looks like at the end of it all. I have one remaining egg. When I candled this egg today, I thought there might be possibility that it might come through. Then again, it might not. I think we'll give it till morning. I'm not real hopeful on it. But I don't know if you can see, there's a lot of like dried fluff here from the peeps. The water is very dirty. It is time to clean this thing. And tomorrow I should have enough fertile eggs to start another batch. So we'll clean it up and we'll get it going again. So probably a fluke encounter that happened that is somewhat of a design issue. I don't know if you can see in the center here, there is this metal kind of bolt that the turner actually attaches to. So today, when I was taking the peeps out that had hatched, and I was also pulling out the eggs to candle them again, there was an egg right there at that turner. And when I lifted it up, here, the underside of it, the peep had tried to emerge from the shell. And it just so happened that the egg had kind of rolled onto this turner, and it just kind of held the egg hostage there. It just happened to land in the area that the peep had opened. Then it looks like the peep attempted to kind of, you know, kind of break free, but it ended up dying in the shell. It was not able to get off of the turner, and it's a little raised there. So a total fluke, but I did lose one to that. You know, when they're all in there, the eggs kind of get shuffled around a little. It gets a little wild. I don't know about this one. So this one is one of the ones that I purchased. I also learned my hatching rate wasn't super fantastic. So I had it fully loaded with 22 eggs initially. At my first candling, I discovered there was one of the eggs I purchased, which was a dozen eggs, had just a micro crack, and it was not good, so I had to get rid of that. So I was down to 21, and then out of 21, I had 11. I would have had 12, so a little bit over 50%. However, that being said, out of my eggs, sorry, I thought I heard the egg moving. out of my eggs, I had 4 hatch, and that one that was a casualty was one of those. Was one of mine also. So that would have been 5. And what I think is possible, either two things. One possibility is that my rooster just isn't overly fertile. He was given to me. He's a very friendly fellow. I don't know how old he is. He's not real aggressive. The other possibility is that the hens just weren't all fertilized. I did allow him with them for 2 days before I started collecting the eggs. He had 3 hens at that point in time. So maybe they just weren't all, you know, he just didn't have the opportunity to fertilize all of them, or, you know, maybe it just wasn't enough time. So I'm curious to see what happens with this new batch. I don't believe that was any fault of the incubator. Now, so we talked about before, people mentioning about this edge here and peeps kind of coming off of it, and that being a dilemma. I will agree with that. That is a dilemma. How I solved that, I just kind of had a child help me, and we just held the lid up a little, like on an angle. I just reached in and grabbed some. So there was really only one exit, you know, from where I was working. So I think the last thing to do is we'll give this egg tonight, and then tomorrow we will clean this up, and I will talk to you about cleaning it and let you know my thoughts on that. Now my humidity just dropped because I had the lid off, but I'm still experiencing the high humidity. Of course, my temperature dropped because I had the lid off. We're now at day 0 because it's 0 days. This egg should have hatched. But sometimes they are a day behind or a day early, but we shall see. Okay, so we gave up on that last egg. I have unplugged the dome here. It's pretty yucky. So what I plan on doing is just kind of absorbing all the liquid out with paper towels, putting in this bag here, and then I have some spray disinfectant that's supposed to take care of all sorts of stuff, mildew, fungicide, all sorts of stuff. So I'll spray it with that then and then wipe it down. And I think first we need to try to get this turner out. It also says about running it dry for 24 hours before you put it away, but I'm not going to put it away. I'm going to actually use it again. So, yucky. So as I'm cleaning this out here, I think I might have discovered the humidity issue. So there was supposed to be water in this chamber for all the days up to the last 3. And then there was supposed to be water in this larger chamber for the last 3 days, plus this water here. But I've been cleaning it out, but I thought maybe I should show you. This here is a area that no water is supposed to be in. This is between the water reservoir and the wall of the unit. And there was water in it, which would increase my surface area of water, which would increase my humidity level. Now I'm trying to figure out why this happened. Okay, so we believe we figured out the situation here. I have a level on top of the base, and as you can see, it is not level. I believe my table is not level. So if I raise up this end, which I had no idea, it's more than a 1/4 inch off as far as being level. So I believe that when I filled this first compartment to 2/3 of the way up, 2/3 of the way is less than a 1/4 inch, remaining. And if you look here, I know this is kind of gross, but you can see that the water level, you can kind of see the water level where I hadn't cleaned it yet. You can see it there, but you can see here that at some point water was going over this edge. So depending on how I had this spun around, which I did spin it around, I believe that is how water was getting into this area, which was then in turn increasing the humidity. So this I'm going to have to be careful of on my next run here. Another thing is that I would recommend highly making sure that you have a level surface, even if it seems level, because this table seems perfectly level. Check it, because a 1/4 inch isn't that much, but when you're talking about a very small depth of an item here, this is like I don't know, maybe 5/8 of an inch deep. A 1/4 inch can make quite a difference. Okay, so I have it reassembled. I'm heating it back up to start another batch. I'm gonna trial my whole balance level theory. As you can see, I have the level on here now. I have it at a place on the table that is a little more level, and then I've added this, so it's not a 1/4 inch difference here. You can see it, I've got it pretty level. So all in all, maybe this will fix the humidity thing. I will follow up with another video explaining the humidity issue if it does. I do agree with some other folks of things I read about the edge here, and I've shared with you, I believe this should be darker plastic, like black, so that you can candle with more ease, and that the cell phone worked really well for candling. But overall, I'm pleased. I don't believe my hatch rate had anything to do with the incubator. I love the ability to view so easily what is going on inside and to watch the hatching. That was a real treat. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned. If I figure out this humidity thing, if my hunch is right, I'll be sharing another video about that.